What's up, guys? Welcome to Daily Dose of Reddit. This is your host, Zach, and today's subreddit is r/IDontWorkHereLady. This story's called, Excuse Me, Hey You! Don't you work here? I have never made a Reddit account before and have just anonymously read posts. But this happened recently, and I finally have something interesting to share. Here's the cast. Entitled Dad. Entitled Brat. For context, I'm trans, female to male, and have just recently come out to my family. Before this, my clothes were tomboyish, but I never dared to buy something from the boys section for fear of what people might think. I cut my hair a few months back, and I think I passed pretty well. This story happens in a clothes store, where I'm finally able to buy clothes from the boys section. If you know me, you know I hate clothes shopping and just shopping in general. So I plan to get in and out of there as quickly as possible. The uniform here is a gray polo shirt, black trousers, and smart black shoes. I'm wearing a camo hoodie with black joggers and dirty black trainers, looking nothing like an employee and evidently not an adult. Going up the escalator, I notice that there are two people in the section I'm about to go into, entitled Dad and entitled Brat. As someone with social anxiety, having people there makes me anxious, but I remind myself that they are just here to shop and will just mind their own business. Or so I thought. Entitled Dad talking to entitled Brat. What size are you? You need this shirt.
How am I supposed to know? I just want to get out of here and go to McDonald's.
You have to know. He takes several sizes from the rack. We're going to the changing room and you're trying these on. They leave, I hope for good. I take a good look at the racks and find a shirt that I like and some shorts. I measure the shirt up against me, trying to find a size that fits. I see them come back, but just ignore them, as I'm not in anyone's way and I don't want to deal with entitled people today. Entitled Dad frustratedly shoves the shirts back and in a raised tone says, Excuse me, girl. I doubt he's talking to me since I'm not a girl, and I obviously don't work here. He's probably just harassing some poor employee. Little did I know, I was the poor employee. Louder, he says, Hey you, do you work here? I again ignore him, since I do not work here. Entitled Brat runs over to me and grabs my arm. I obviously remove my arm, not wanting Entitled Brat germs on me. Entitled Brat glares at me.
You work here, so do your job and help us.
I freeze and just stare at them. Are you even listening to me? Are you deaf? I don't get why they hire people like you. I'm sorry, but I don't work here, and no, I'm not deaf. Entitled's dad face changes a little, into a sort of, oh, crap, expression, but still continues. Well, if you don't work here, why are you in the boys section? I was confused for a second, but then it hit me. My heart sank and I felt like crap. I am a boy and am too young to work here. I'm just a customer, but I can help you find an employee to help you. He stares at me for a second, looking me up and down. Then, without apology, walks off with his son. Safe to say I got out of there as fast as I could and felt uncomfortable and dysphoric for the rest of the day. But still found a nice shirt, which I guess is a bonus. Okay, that was one jerk of a father and one brat of a brat. I can definitely understand, any sense of discomfort after that, because, why wouldn't you feel uncomfortable? So yeah, I feel really bad for our Redditor here. That's not cool. Let me know in the comments below if you've encountered anything similar, if you happen to be trans or not, I'm just curious. This story's called a Creep Because I Don't Work at the School I Work At. Apologies if this is the incorrect place to post this. I'm also on mobile, so please forgive me. So I work as an IT consultant under a long-term contract for a school, thus making me not an employee. I've been working at this school for many months now, so all the staff and a few parents know me. None of the regularly employed staff require uniforms or have any identification except being on the website staff list, which I am not a part of. Tuesday of this week, I'm walking back onto the school grounds after getting some food a good hour after school got out when one of the parents I saw earlier beelines towards me from the parking lot. Here's the cast. There's me, Parrot B, awesome office person.
I've seen you around here creeping on the kids. You need to go away before I report you to the staff and the police.
I'm caught really off guard because I almost never interact with parents except through mail or the occasional one chatting with other staff. sorry, I actually work here.
I've looked at the website list and you aren't anywhere on there. I've even spoken to other parents and they're concerned for their kids' safety. You need to leave right now before I call the police.
Look, we can go into the office and talk to A, B, or possibly C if she's still in.
Yeah, then they can call the police themselves and you won't be able to run.
Okay, don't follow the logic with that one. Regardless, we walk over into the office. Luckily, someone is still working the front office. The lady is about to speak, but I immediately chime in and say, "Hey B, can you please verify that I work here as IT support?" B, really confused, says, "Yes, he works here. He's been here for a couple months now."
Then why isn't he on the website? And why doesn't he have a badge?
Well, we didn't feel like a badge was necessary, as everyone here knows him and he was introduced at the school assembly.
Then send out an email to all the parents because many of us have been concerned.
Do you actually think we would just let some random guy walk onto our campus like that? You're fine, you can go. To me. I left while they were still talking because I had a lot of work to do. I can see where much of the confusion was, and I'm not offended, but considering there are dozens of parents and staff unmarked on campus a day, also the fact that no person is initially allowed on campus without first verifying their identity at least once. Me showing up many times should have been a hint. Okay guys, don't rag on me like you like to do, okay? I feel like this one is understandable, okay? She was concerned for their children. Obviously, there was a lapse in judgment, but you know what? At least she actually agreed to verify with the office. This is not as bad as it could have been, okay? Am I crazy? I think I'm rational here. This story's called I Don't Work Here Anymore. So this happened a few months ago, and my friend said I should post it when I was telling the story the other day. I used to work at a large bargain chain in the UK. I hated it. I liked the people I worked with and a few of the managers, but the company and the majority of the customers were and are awful. The pay was rubbish and the way the company treated us was just crap. But I needed the job as, you know, I like to eat and pay my bills. So I stuck it out for a few years while applying for other jobs. And finally, the gods saw fit to get me a better job out of retail. I've been working at my new job over a year now, but I still go into my old work because A, I like to catch up with people I like who still work there, and B, I love a good bargain. Now onto the story. I was pushing my trolley around, just browsing shelves when I hear a cough behind me. I ignore it and continue on my way. Then I hear an "excuse me." I continue to ignore it as it's not a voice I recognize and it's nothing to do with me. Then the sharp tap on the shoulder and a louder "excuse me." I turn around and see a former regular customer. She was always a nightmare and was one of the many reasons I was glad to get out of retail. Here's the cast.
Nightmare customer.
Me, former manager. I beg your pardon?
Don't think you can ignore me. I want you to get me XXX.
Sorry, I don't work here.
Yes, you do. I've seen you behind the tills. You served me last week.
No, I didn't. I used to work here, but I haven't in nearly a year. So, I don't work here. Get someone else to help you.
Well, you're here now, so you can help me.
Nope.
What do you mean, no?
I don't work here? Now, kindly urinate off and let me finish my shopping.
You can't talk to me like that. I'll have you sacked. Where's your manager?
No flippin' idea. And I walked off while she was screeching like a banshee and I finished my shop. I get to the tills and I'm loading my shopping onto the belt, chatting to my former manager when she comes charging over and starts yelling.
You!
Points at former manager. I want her sacked. Points at me.
She was rude and swore at me.
Sorry, madam. I can't fire her. She doesn't work here.
Don't you lie to me. I know she works here.
No, she doesn't. She used to, but left for another job.
Shut up! She swore at me and was rude, so you need to sack her.
I can't sack her. She's a customer. I don't work here.
This is ridiculous. I want the manager.
I am the manager, and she does not work here. Nope, I'm free. I'm free, and I'm also leaving. Bye, former manager. Bye, OP. Let me tell you something, guys. There's almost nothing better than going back to a former place of work when you don't work there or just going there on your day off. Just reveling in the fact that your responsibilities there are no more. Unless, you're on your day off and you have to come back, The next day you're working, but still, a former source of stress and strain is now a source of pleasure, I guess, as much as a store can give you pleasure. This story's called "A Karen Yelled at Me for Not Doing My Job at a Place I Don't Work At, then accuses me for stealing food from my actual job." This is my first Reddit, so I'll try to give some background. I worked at a mall food court restaurant for a little over 2 years. I knew most people who worked in that mall from the other stores. Our food place had a special system where we delivered paid food to other employees around the mall so they don't need to waste their break time going all the way to the food court for food. I was delivery coordinator for busy days, so it was my job to check, organize, and send out the deliveries with the runners. About 3 to 4 of them, but during the holidays, we run out of runners and I had to go make a quick delivery. I am used to being mistaken for an employee. I wear a uniform with a name tag that looks similar to what you would expect out of a JCPenney and a Macy's, even though they don't really wear uniforms. I'm headed to the store's break room to drop off the food before I'm stopped by the Karen of this story. It's the holidays, I've been there for 8 hours already coordinating 15-year-olds and was in a hurry to get back. I'm a good employee.
Excuse me, I'm in a hurry and need to be helped.
I'm sorry, ma'am. I don't work here, but the service desk is right there if you need to be assisted. I replied, polite as usual.
That's a big lie. If you don't work here, why are you in uniform?
I'm currently on the clock and need to get this food to the guests before it gets cold.
Eating on the clock,
she yelled like she didn't hear what I said. It's not for me, ma'am, and I am sorry for the confusion.
I want your manager,
she yelled. Thankfully, the buyer of the order heard the commotion and came out to see what was going on. And lo and behold, the buyer was the manager.
Manager, this employee has been refusing me service and I demand they be written up.
By this point, I'm tapping my foot impatiently. I get very nervous when I'm late, as we can have about 60 deliveries per hour during the holidays. The manager sees my look and understands what's going on. She doesn't work here. She works in the food court and has brought me my food for my break. The service desk has the manager currently working. The Karen was silent, and I gave a bow and dismissed myself from the situation. Sadly, Karen followed me. And like usual, no one took over coordinating the orders, so the runners were just standing there waiting to be sent out for delivery. So I immediately get back to work and start sending the kids on deliveries and ask them to be quick because we fell behind. Right as I was explaining to my manager what happened, Karen shows up demanding that I be fired for stealing food to give to my friend and roaming around while I'm on the clock. I gave my manager "that's her" look, and he sighed and explained the situation to her. She continued to complain and everything was falling behind until I had an idea. I gave an expired promo card for a free item to my manager to give to her, and dished out the usual apologies until she left with her expired card. Did you really just give her a free meal? Nope. Never feed a bear. They'll always come back. Oh my goodness, what is with Karens deliberately trying to get someone in trouble for literally just doing their job? Redditor, guy, man, lady, sir, dude, bro. I'm so sorry you had to deal with that. Honestly, just reading that, I got exasperated. Alright, this story's called "Sure, I'll Help You, but I'll Have to Charge." Just a reminder that this is a throwaway account. I've had stories in the past that people give awards to, pretty much wasting their money. This happened yesterday, November 29th, 2020. For context, I used to work at a partner company of the phone retailer with the red check mark. I quit for reasons I won't go into. Because they suck? I was going into the store to return the key. As I was driving, a lady grabbed my arm tightly. Like I said, this is mid-brovid. I immediately recognized her as a regular who's always having issues with their phone, or rather doesn't have a brain cell to learn how to use it. I yanked my arm away, grumbling a bit, preparing for the abuse I knew came with helping her. "Aren't you gonna help me?" she shrieked, her voice shrill, nails on a chalkboard. "Help you? Why would I?" I scoffed.
"Because you work here?"
she snapped. "No, I don't. I used to, but I quit last week."
"I don't care! You're here! Help me!"
I sighed and thought for a second, then got a devilish smirk. "Fine, since I don't work here, I'll have to charge my freelance fees." She got a look on her face as if I just told her grass was always pink.
"Freelance fees?"
"Yep. When I'm not on the clock, I charge $40 per hour, minimum of 2 hours. I knew she wouldn't go for it. As expected, she started screaming and berating me. I didn't have time for her beaver sausage, so I walked out the door and continued my day with a bit of a smile on my face. Okay, Thanos. That must have been pretty satisfying. But wish you got paid. Wish you did. That'd been great.
Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell to never miss an episode.